Mr. Speaker, the matter before us came here during the budget time. And when the Minister for Finance was reading the budget, I want to quote, he said that the gallant men and women in uniform while reading the budget, the Minister said this, that we are enhancing the salary of the police officer, of our policemen by 25%, and that the gallant men and women in uniform at the rank of captain and below who are serving UPDF and in Uganda police and in prison and internal and external intelligence services, this budget contains the first installment of your enhanced pay. Mr. Speaker, if such a commitment is made to the country, then it ceases to be a promise and becomes a date. The police have been coming here in 2023, 2024. They were promised a salary increase of 40%. Eventually, it did not come. This time, Mr. Minister, Mr. Speaker, the money was found. But what is lacking is sharing. It is very unreasonable if we get some money and the top officers who are facilitated in terms of transport, again, out of greed, don't care about the juniors, and they take the money for themselves, Mr. Speaker. What I want to request, Mr. Speaker, sir, is that this Parliament asserts itself and say, what did we pass in this House, Mr. Speaker? We go back to what we passed here, and we seek for its implementation. We cannot allow these people to risk the whole country and leave these people to go out with guns without pay. This used to happen during Obote's time, that a person would be given a gun and then told to go and look for his salary.
Are you done, Honorable? Point of order from Honorable Akena.
Right, Honorable Speaker. It is very perturbing that people try to blame everything, pick all sorts of ideas and claims and attribute it to UPC. There has never been a point where a caring government has told people to take their guns and look for their salary. One of the first things today was an honorable member crying about medicines in Nakaseke Hospital. People don't seem to realize that that hospital was built by the same UPC. If UPC is building hospitals all over Uganda and then saying soldiers to go and take the right honorable speaker, I would request my honorable colleague to withdraw, because it is clearly completely out of order to make such an allegation on this floor of Parliament. Is the honorable member in order?
Right, Honorable Speaker, my intention was not to antagonize the President of UPC, Mr. Akena, Honorable Akena. I do regret the pain my statement has caused him, especially when I was mentioning the times when he used to be a first son and most probably young. But Mr. Speaker, I said we are told. So I was just supporting what I was told.
No, you can grant his request.
And for that, I want to tell my honorable colleague that I was told, but now that you have told me the better version of what happened during that time, I withdraw that statement. But what I wanted to emphasize, Mr. Speaker, is that when you arm a person and you don't pay that person, you are in essence telling that person to use the gun to go and look for survival. Mr. Speaker, allow me to show you a WhatsApp that has been sent to me by one policeman.
Can you lay the phone on table?
Yes, I will lay. Mr. Speaker, because I'm the shadow minister, a policeman, somebody saying that he's a policeman, sent me this. He said, Honorable Shadow Minister, please tell Parliament that this is how I spend my pay. I earn 466,933 net pay. Exodus chops off 30,000. I remain with a balance of 436,933. This is my expenditure per day. Breakfast, 2,000. Lunch, 3,500. Supper, 3,500. Transport, 4,000. Airtime, 2,000. That is 15 times 30. That is 450, which means that I have to permanently stay alone without children or a wife. But ask, where do I get the medication? Where do I get soap? Where do I get school fees? Where do I get rent? Since I've been even evicted from a self-made structure I constructed in my barracks. That is our predicament. And I want Parliament to understand that we are also human beings. We guard you. We guard you, we guard the country, we keep law and order. But how do we keep money in the banks where we don't own any? Mr. Speaker, I don't know if I should lay my phone, but this is information from I'll take it.
Member for giving way. Related to exactly that, yesterday upon a prison officer or young junior police, just prison warder, hearing that we had intervened in this matter, called me in the morning and said, I heard you are interrogating the sharing of the monies that you allocated to us. Please get this information. One, the senior officers who are not meant to be beneficiary have instead taken the lion's share. And two, the next thing we are planning, and I will not reveal this particular person, the next thing we're planning is to go on strike, such that the people you have sent us in Luzira can come back and bring you to the same level where you have kept us. Now this is the information, and to me I took it very, very serious. That's why I was standing, and in your absolute wisdom you thought other people would. The second thing I want to say is that you obey guide on the procedure. I am very uncomfortable allowing the Honorable pay-Nambooze to lay that phone on table, because apart from...
No, it was on a light note.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't.
On a light one still, is that the confidentiality of that particular person may be compromised. But with that, Mr. Speaker, I listened to the very good English of my brother, the Honorable Mululi Mukasa. It was very, very good. From Nakasongola, it was amazing. And one thing he did not mention, I said, oh, she says she's informed. I was only praising the Honorable Mukasa for the brilliant English, and it is all I picked from his statement.
Thank you. Now,
Right Honorable Speaker, this is a matter of survival for the men in uniform, for the people who keep law and order, for the people who guard this country. I hope everybody does appreciate the challenge before us. And Mr. Speaker, through you, I want to request that this matter be referred to the committee so that these people come and tell us how they shared the money we gave them. So that Parliament assists them to implement the intention of the people of Uganda through this Parliament was to give a salary increase to the low-ranking officers of police so that they can be able to afford to survive to survive and their families. Mr. Speaker, I want to move a motion that this matter goes to the committee and then a report be brought to this Parliament so that we can understand exactly where the problem is.
Please, Honorable colleague, allow the Speaker to do his work. Yes.
Much obliged, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. The Minister. Because for every budget we have work plans. So what was in the work plans? What was in the detail of that enhancement? Because when you say you have given this much money, yeah, because you see, why I'm asking this question, I Honorable Mururi Mukasa, in just a tight corner alone, okay, when we did work with him. Now, all the money that we passed here, has been allocated, has been distributed for salary enhancement. The issue is, yes, all the money. Now, the issue is, when we were approving this money, when we were Honorable Mukasa, initially, is this the initial plan? Because now I've just remembered. There's something which has come to my mind, I've remembered. I think this money came in a corrigenda. This money came in a corrigenda, meaning it didn't go to the Committee on Internal Affairs to get details of the distribution and all that. I've now remembered. No, because you see, why I said came in a corrigenda, honorable colleagues, we held a meeting, the top leadership of this country, chaired by the President, attended by the Chief Justice, by the Vice President, by the Prime Minister, by the Speaker, by the Deputy Speaker and Minister for Finance. And we were looking at issues which were very critical at that time versus the resource envelope. And I remember they had requested for around 870 billion, around there. But we sat down, we started cutting here and there, cutting here and there. I remember very well that in fact in that meeting, we even dropped some of the critical proposals which government had in terms of supporting the science and innovation sector. And the President said, no, at least we must get some money for enhancement of security forces. And we could only get 320-something billion. But what we didn't discuss in detail was the distribution, which was the matter now for the executive and cabinet. So, Honorable Minister, what informed your decision in choosing to start with the senior officers instead of the junior officers? I know it might be in this statement, but in a minute.
Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, yes, we decided to look at the senior officers, but I think when we started the enhancement of the security forces, Initially, we started with the junior people. For instance, private, we went up to, I think, the level of captain initially. And then when it came the police, we again started with the constable and went up to the other level. And the others were not enhanced. The senior officers were not enhanced. Now, when the second enhancement came, therefore, we felt logically that we should now look at the senior officers and then take care of their concerns as well. And then next enhancement, this one now, when it came, we went back to the lower ranks of the security forces. So, well, sorry, Honorable, Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable members, that maybe the approach went wrong right from the inception, but that's it. But I think since the enhancement is in phases and we are committed to actually enhancing up to the pay targets that we agreed on, I think as we move, this is going to be...
Because why I'm asking you the House very well. I want to know, you had already enhanced military officers from the rank, is it of major? From captain? No. From major upwards. Okay? But you didn't do it for police. Okay? You didn't do it for police. And what you run is matched against each security sector, which is more or less a single spine salary structure. So that you have an equivalent of a senior police officer at this rank is equivalent to the one in military. So where the aim now to cure that defect where the senior officers in police were complaining that you enhanced the ones of UPDF, but you left us out. If that was the issue, you should also put it here, we understand it. Yeah. Because I was trying to really understand.
Right Honorable Speaker, that consideration also informed our decision. We still, Right Honorable Speaker, operate a single spine salary structure. And there is the principle of harmonization across sectors. So that also informed our decision. Definitely when we looked at the military and the officers were happy, the officers in the police and in the intelligence, who more or less, you know, are the same rank, same level, and they work in unison to provide and secure security, were also disgruntled and they were not very happy themselves. So since as I said, those agencies work in unison in to synchronize their work, then our decision was partly informed by that, and we thought it would be quite in order.
Thank you. Honorable Gafabusa.
I'm seeking clarification from the Minister on the phased enhancement. From the statement, this is from a resolution of Cabinet of 2017. And implementation started in 2018-2019 financial year. And this long-term enhancement target is for 5 years. I have computed 2018-19 financial year. The 5 years actually end this financial year, 2024-2025. If we have not reached the long-term target, when do we expect this phased enhancement? Has Cabinet sat again to change the period within which to achieve this long-term target of 5 years? because the target here is 5 years.
Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, this matter is a very pertinent matter. The way we are moving, the minister is trying to give off-cuff answers, very unsatisfying to a very sensitive group, in our society. Isn't it right, Honorable Speaker, that this matter is interrogated thoroughly by either committee, and we give them the shortest time possible, and they look at all stakeholders in this matter, and they report back to this House?
Thank you. Now, you see, honorable colleagues, approved, has been utilized. Listen, has been utilized. You know it very well, okay? The moment you give someone a salary, you cannot review it to their detriment. So you cannot record this budget from the senior officers to say, bring back this money, we give it to the junior officer. So I'm trying to show you that even if you send to the committee, okay, you send to the committee to do what? That's why I want us to move in a steadfast manner, okay? In a steadfast manner. I had allowed Honorable Nzima, Honorable Sachiko. I'm hearing members saying they departed, okay, from what they told Parliament they were going to do. But this was never interrogated by the committee. No. It came as a corrigenda. Yes, it came as a corrigenda and the committee never interrogated it. So that's why I've asked you, if there was any work plan submitted to the committee, let the committee share it. Yeah, so if it's not there, I don't want us to start attributing. This is the House of Record, honorable colleagues. Let us move in a steadfast manner. If there is a mistake which was made, we look at addressing that mistake. Okay? So let me first allow the honorable colleagues whom I had.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when they show that they are going to rationalize these agencies to release some money which should be added onto what? Onto the salaries. Our question as a committee was, which one should have come faster? I mean first. Is it the increment or the rationalization should have taken place to release monies? But now the challenge here is, as I had said, we pass resolutions here. These resolutions are supposed to be implemented the way they are passed. At the end of the day, they are implemented in the opposite way. The resolutions are not followed. And this is what has caused this confusion. From 2018 up to now, we can't imagine that the police officers are still at 400. They should have been taken to above 400. So the other issue also, Mr. Speaker, this debate has come as a result of a question which was raised by Honorable Nambooze. He had said the police officers, because they get little amount of money, they are bitter. His argument was that, is this increment being affected or not? Have they received the money that was supposed to be increased? So what the minister has just read is a statement that has not brought this clearly out. So what we needed to know is, as per the end of July, what salary did these police officers get? That one should come out clearly, and what they are supposed to get. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I happen to sit on the Committee of Defense and Internal Affairs. And what I listened to what the Minister for Public Service, Honorable Murudi Mukasa, was saying was in direct contrast to the interactions we had as a committee with the Minister of Internal Affairs. Unfortunately, the Minister of State is here. And I'm surprised he has kept a low profile, as if he's not centrally affected by the debate on the floor of this House. Right, Honorable Speaker, the conclusions we drew out of our interaction with the Minister was that the enhancement or the increment had to start with the lowest rank in police. And he's here, he can testify, he can confirm to that. That's what we agreed. And the enhancement was to go to the minimum of 800,000.
800,000, Mr. Speaker and members. And that was the undertaking government gave to the committee. But now, as it turns out, it is the seniors that have been even further enhanced. Yet they have houses. Those who don't have, they have housing allowances. They have fuel. They have everything you need. They are guarded by these very poor paid personnel of theirs. They eat dust behind the pickups, and they are watching them. Right, Honorable Speaker, they have been displaced from the barracks. And if you know the barracks, Mr. Speaker, the police officers themselves build themselves shacks within barracks. The police officers, they buy themselves iron sheets, they get mud and wattle and build shacks in the barracks. And it's from there they've been evicted, Right, Honorable Speaker. So, Right, Honorable Speaker, the point I wanted to bring forward is that the Minister for Public Service is being untruthful to the House. He's reading some other statement, not the statement arising out of the ministerial policy statement.
Thank you.
I'll take the
Clerk, to put for us on the screens the page which is on the computation of enhancements, which was attached to the minister's statement. Honorable colleagues, you can check on our fresco. Those who are having. Yes, yes. And so I need the rope and then the...
But as I appreciate his making time to give us that statement, I honestly, vehemently disagree with him when he says government is committed to the welfare of these men and women in uniform. That commitment, Senior Minister, is not reflected at all. And that's why you see the House is unanimously saying we need to do better. The welfare of these men and women in uniform begins firstly with their salaries. We are talking about that, a promise was made, that has not happened. The welfare includes where they stay. Honorable Speaker, I have 2 barracks in my constituency. Every so often I interact with these men and women in uniform, their families. They live in a shambolic state. You can go to any barracks in this country and it is like one big slum. That's the situation in which they stay. Government is not committed to that, making it better. A colleague talked about the Exodus Circle. And by the way, Right Honourable Speaker, we have discussed that issue here in Parliament severally, and government has committed to follow up and deal with it. They are forced to save money with Exodus Circle, mandatorily, which by the way is against the law, because it should be done on one's own volition. But they save it by force. Accessing it is difficult. And they fear to speak out, because when they speak out, they will be dealt with. They engage with us as political leaders so that we can raise these matters. So I want to encourage the senior minister. Number one, commitment should be seen in action, not just in the statement, the good statement that you have made to us. We want to see action. And finally, I want to encourage the minister who speaks really like he means well. And I want to believe that you mean well when you say you're committed. It's only that we are saying we want to see that commitment in action. Please find time and interact with these officers yourself, especially the junior ones. And you get to know what exactly they go through, because you supervise them, you are meant to take care of them like a father. Try and understand what's going on. Because sometimes when we speak with the political leaders, the front bench here assumes we are just being political. No, and I'm glad this issue is resounding across board. We want to see better for our men and women in uniform.
That's why we no longer print. Yeah, so I'm seeing here, honorable colleagues, that from Special Police Constable, Stroke Commission of Prisons, they got an increment of 40%. Is that honorable minister? And then from Senior Commissioner of Police to Assistant Inspector General of Police, okay, 42 and 44. So the top 3 categories are the ones which got a higher amount. So honorable minister, out of this money which went to police, okay, which is around 90, I think police received around 90, yeah. Uganda Police, received 99.8. How much money went to the seniors? How much went to the juniors? Because, you see, also you can see there was an increment. But the increment was not fair. Okay? At least for people to understand. A constable got an increment of 110,000. Okay? So the issue of the figures. Because you see, honorable colleagues, I want us to agree that if we see that the gap is so big, then we are sending the executive to go back and look for money, top up, because now you can't touch this money. Yeah, you cannot touch it. To the concerns of the House. You have listened to the concern that cut across. Go back as the executive. Okay? You table it in cabinet, you table this concern, because even if I send you to the committee now, there's nothing you will table there before going and consulting with cabinet. This would be an issue of a supplementary budget if it is to be handled. So go back, you share with the cabinet, you raise these concerns, and then you report back to the House in 2 weeks. Yes, Honorable Segona, what would be?
Mr. Speaker, the reason we had suggested the committee is because now Parliament gets involved to look at finer details of the figures. That's number one. The minister would go to the same committee. The people who shared out this money the way they did will go to the same committee, would be in a position to understand first, how did we get to where we are? That we're even looking for a supplementary. We are struggling. Even the original budget you passed here twice, Mr. Speaker, cannot be implemented. I saw the PSST telling the nation that he has released money for the first quarter, 5.5 trillion. We were expecting 18.5 trillion, and he released only 5.5. So even when you talk of supplementary, you must be able to understand, first, where is it going to come from? Two, who led us to where we are? Are we so helpless that we cannot identify officers that led us to this mess?
Thank you. See, Honorable Segona, what you are saying is what I'm coming to. Okay? And that's why I've said the minister, in 2 weeks, he first reports back here. You first give him a chance. Then when a statement comes, that statement will still have issues. We can easily now send it to the committee. I usually want to first give them a chance than rushing to the committees. Okay? Yeah. Next item.